Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson, and today it has been a long time coming, but it's time for a garden tour. Now I have a lot of different things growing in my garden that I just planted, and then a lot of different things that are already full of fruit and hopefully ready to pick soon. So a lot of times during like really abundant times, my garden tours get replaced with garden harvest because I go outside and I'm like, okay, there's so much I have to pick, and just little garden tips because that's during the time where things are growing, people may be having issues, sometimes I have issues in my garden, or I'm trying to refresh beds and just different things. So I'm excited to have put in a lot of the summer crops and to be able to share them with you guys in this garden tour. So let's start at the front with my crazy herb bed. Alright guys, so I am slowly going through this and drying a lot of these herbs. So far I've already got the oregano. If you guys watched my Medicinal Friday on last Friday, then you'll see that that one was already trimmed up, and as you can see it's already starting to grow back some more, so hopefully we get some more oregano. But I have sweet marjoram that's going to be next. I have some chives, and then I have my rosemary is really starting to love the hot weather, so it's really coming in. I have 3 different ones in here. And then the chervil is starting to put up little flowers, so that one needs to get dried too as well. There's some more chervil over there. And then the sage is really starting to come through too, guys. Now the sage was so tiny until the sun got to it and the warmth got to it, and then the sage started really coming out. And I have this little variegated sage way back here that's so beautiful, as well as this purple sage that's coming in. And then I have a regular garden sage. And then my parsley is also doing really well. And I have a purple basil that I need to let get some more sun so that it can darken up and get really purple. So I hope you guys are watching my Medicinal Friday videos, because I'm really going through and talking about a lot of the medicinal herbs, because it is important for you to have a ton of medicinal herbs and culinary herbs, or just herbs in general, in your diet. It's going to keep you healthy, guys. Now a lot of these are going to be going away soon. This is just such a tragic mess on my patio here, guys, because we have so many things that aren't loving the sun, so they're getting ready to go next. All the spinach is going to get harvested this weekend, probably on Sunday or Monday, so I'm going to take all that out. I'm going to make a soup actually with that, so I'm going to take that out. And then also these are the last of the newbies that I'm still letting to kind of grow in here too as well. The collards are still doing really good. I'm going to leave them, and we have the smaller collards that are starting to grow up too as well. And then we have the Swiss chard is still doing good. We have the kale, I just harvested that, so that's still doing good. And then we have the artichoke over here. Now what this is going to slowly transition into is going to be a watermelon and pumpkin bed. So as these things come out, then I'm going to be adding the watermelons. First going to go over there, and then later in the summer the pumpkin is going to go over here where all of the greens are. And then hopefully I get some nice watermelons and pumpkins while I grow some fall greens in the house, so then I can replace those later on. Now down below here we have a trail of pots that are just abundance. So we have some green beans, and then this is in the old lettuce and chive pots. These lettuce and chives are getting ready to come out. And then we have green beans growing in here. These are all the new ones. They're going to be stacked a little bit higher. Actually, that one should go on top of that one. And then we have some ground cherries that are starting to form, guys. I'm pretty excited about this because I've never had a ground cherry before, but I heard that they are amazing, so I'm excited about that. We have the celery and these two that are going to get harvested because now it's too hot for them. This spinach is all getting ready to get harvested, and I'm going to use it in my soup and then freeze the rest of it. And then this parsley I'm going to keep. I'm going to see if I can keep this flat leaf parsley, because I thought that the last one was the last one that I had, but apparently I have 3 of them right here. So I'm going to try and see if maybe if I can put this one lower down on the tower, will it stay a little bit longer through the summer. And then I have some more beans, and then even more beans. My bean towers are going to be amazing. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for green beans, and I am just doing what I do with radishes in the fall, where I just throw radish seeds everywhere. I'm throwing bush bean seeds everywhere because I want to get as many green beans as possible. So if you guys have been following along on the community page of my channel, you will see that I had posted a picture of a plant that flowered, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I asked you guys to guess what it was, and now I'll let you guys know. So this little guy here is a salad bush cucumber plant, and it's not supposed to get that tall. So tomorrow I'm going to put a mighty crop in it and let it grow up a mighty crop. But look at this, guys. We've already got some flowers, so it's already enjoying the Arizona sun. So I like to have a combination of like vegetables in pots and also vegetables in the ground. So having those little like bush cucumbers, bush beans, bush tomatoes, all those little things are really, really helpful. So next up is just a ton of different fun and pots. So over here hanging, I have some borage, and then I have an extra rosemary, and then over here I have a stevia plant, and then this one has died. That one was going to be a cumin, but it died. So I don't know how I went wrong on there. So the next row I have my jalapeno peppers, and I'm hoping that they're going to do a lot better now that the parsley's gone. They'll get some more sun. I am going to come in here and just trim up all of the leaves and prune them so that then they can grow into bigger plants, because my pepper plants should be around this size and they are not, but I think that's because they were just too far in there. And then I have my 100 sweet tomatoes, and then there's a Bonnie's Original. My 100 sweet tomatoes did really, really good. I've been getting a lot of tomatoes off of this one, but my Bonnie's Original, it's giving me okay tomatoes. They're pretty small and misshapen, so I don't think that one's gonna be one that I plant again. And then I just have some basil down below, and then over here I have one eggplant with some leeks behind it, but I don't know when to pick these, and I thought they were gonna get a lot bigger, so I'm not really sure about that. And then I have another eggplant too. Now all of my eggplants are starting to produce eggplants, so that's really nice, and I'm looking forward to eggplants again for the summer. And then I have some shishito pepper plants, and these ones are doing really nicely, and they are starting to now produce normal size shishito peppers, as you can see. So if your shishito peppers are not performing the way that you think they should, make sure you just give them a big prune and let them kind of get themselves back together, and then you'll start getting shishito peppers that size again. And then I have a bush Goliath tomato. Now I'm just waiting for these last ones to turn red, and then I'm going to replace this with something else, just because that one only puts off what it puts off, and then it's done. And then these are just waiting for a spot. So what I'm going to do, guys, is make sure that I take off any flowers that are coming in right now, because I don't want this plant to produce tomatoes at this size, because then it's going to be stunted. So now we're getting ready to head out to my beds. And guys, I have made a lot of progress with my beds because I've been able to get them to where the soil is really amazing in them, and now also with the addition of the worms, just the soil is really, really great. But then I'm able to grow things and then grow things underneath it, and then they just kind of take their place. So that has been what's happening out here in my beds. So first up we have another shishito pepper. Now if you guys remember, this shishito is from last fall, and it was completely stunted, completely not giving me nice shishitos. So I just pruned the life out of it, and now it's grown back, and look at how tall it's getting. And the shishitos on it are normal size now. I have a little parsley here in this hanging plot. I have some basil right in front of it. And then these are my Kentucky Wonder Beans. Now I am starting some Chinese red long noodle beans to either grow with this or take its place because it's already not liking the sun. And I know that I was told that the Chinese red long noodle beans would do a lot better. And then I have some mint over there. That one is my mojito mint. And then I have my Malabar spinach growing up this pole, and then also a Malabar spinach growing up that pole. Now, I was so hoping that that plant was going to be a Chinese red long noodle bean because it would have just made life so much easier, but it was not. So now it's going to start struggling because it's getting hot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the Chinese red long noodle beans as well as like more bush beans inside, so then that way I can get a jump start on them growing, because if I start them inside, they will sprout and be like that tall within like a couple days versus me putting a seed in the ground, and then I can just transplant them. Now look at that, guys. That is a nice tomato plant with tons of tomatoes, and they are starting to turn red. That one is my beefsteak tomato, and then I have the new Prescott tomato coming in to take its place. Now this one I'm going to really try at a single stem, and I'm going to show you why in a second. But I'm really working on single stemming this one and then trying to get it to where the fruit starts maybe about here. So that's what I'm going for. I have that first, I'll get closer. I have the first fruiting plant or fruiting start right there. So I want this one to be even more single stem than this one, because this one did pretty well at single stemming it, but I started too early or too late, so that this one came up, and yes, it put out some tomatoes, but it's made it a little unhealthy. So I want to get that one really going. And then I have, this one is I'm pretty sure it's called something else, but in stores here in Arizona we call it a Mexican squash, and I like it because it's variegated. So this isn't like a sickness or anything like that, just some leaves come in green and some leaves come in silver, and then some come in a silver green, and then the squash will be a greenish silver when it comes in. And then this one is a patty pan squash. Now my yellow neck squash I had to take out because it really was unhealthy, so I'm just going to go ahead and start that one again indoors. Now over here to my red bell peppers, I'm going to go ahead and take these off, guys, when I get ready to harvest everything. I'm going to do it to these ones and then also take off that one. These ones turned red. They were supposed to be yellow, but they turned red. But these plants are trying to produce bell peppers at such a small little state that I really want them to get a lot bigger. So I'm going to take off the fruit, use it, and then I'm going to prune the plant and let the plant get a lot bigger. Now yesterday I did plant some Armenian cucumbers. As you can see, one of them already got topped. So I'm going to go ahead and replant that one. I'm going to plant a seed out here, and then I'm going to do another one inside. And then as well as my loofah. My loofah had got eaten down and now it's starting to grow back, but I am going to put some loofah seeds in there, and then I'm going to start a loofah inside too as well. Now your plants getting eaten or dying, or as soon as you put them in, that can be super annoying, but a lot of times it's a sign too of that plant wasn't healthy or something was going on with it, because as you can see, one got topped and one didn't get topped. So when I put it in there, the one that didn't get topped looked a lot healthier than the one that did, and I thought to myself, I wonder if this one's gonna get eaten, or I hope it stays alive. And I came out the next morning and of course it was topped. So always plant backups. That is my number one rule too as well, because sometimes things get topped just because there's rodents and issues and stuff like that, so they're just coming in to eat the plants, and then sometimes they're unhealthy. The fact that that was one of the only ones, and that's the one that I looked at and thought, I wonder if there's something wrong with this one, makes me think that the plant was unhealthy. And I do want to grow 2 Armenian cucumbers on there because I want this arch to be nice and thick. So I am going to start at least one more and drop a seed in there too as well, and then just see which ones grow the best. Now this space behind here is so hard to reach because I have this pole here and it has the Malabar spinach, and then when these get thick, and it's like you get this little narrow area to try and pick something. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting in either a sunflower or some corn. The corn I think might do really well because it would be able to hold itself up when it gets windy. So you guys comment down below, let me know what you think. So this is why we single stem. Now, as you can see, this thing has a ton of black cherry tomatoes on it. I'm going officially with black cherry tomatoes, even though it's still kind of a guess. But this is why we single stem a plant. This would have been way less of a mess if I had a single stemmed it. And then also up here, the wind getting to it and just tearing up some of these leaves are really making them crusty. And it's hard for me to get in here and prune those because it's such a jungled mess. So if you are going to practice square foot gardening and gardening in really, really tight spaces and kind of packing everything in there, you must prune, and when you have tomatoes, you must single stem, because if you don't, it will be a nightmare. So newly in the bed, I have 2 red okras and 1 Clemson okra, I think is what it's called, just the regular one. And then I have 2 heavy hitter okras and then 1 regular, 2 as well. And then over here I have some beta alpha cucumbers. The beta alpha ones don't need bees to pollinate them, so if you guys have an area that you need to have like completely covered by shade cloth, or it's going to be hard for a bee to get to, those are going to be some good ones. And then I have acorn squash that I plan to grow along this runner bean. Let me get a little bit closer to it. So this is my scarlet red long runner bean, which runner beans do not like sun or like the hot heat. They like sun, but not the hot heat. And I planted this one thinking it was going to grow a lot faster than it did, and they grow pretty slow. So I'm going to grow this acorn squash along with it and maybe see if I could do some type of 3 sister type deal to see if maybe it will help the well, maybe like 2 sisters. See if maybe it'll help the runner beans not get burned up so quickly. But they've gone pretty tall up the arch here. So currently I have this shade cloth situation going on for my strawberries, but we're gonna go underneath here so I can show you what all is going on. Now my strawberries were having a hard time because I was overwatering them. I finally got the hang of watering, and I put a shade cloth over it, and now they're starting to do really, really good. They're not burning up like how this one did, and like this one died from overwatering, but the leaves are coming in great, and they're not producing strawberries yet, but from what I've read and from what I've watched in everybody else's videos, I need to let them get a lot bigger before they start producing strawberries. And then I just have some beautiful flowers that I need to come in and deadhead because they need some deadheading. And then I have my giant lemongrass that is growing even bigger right now. Now going in my medicinal bed, I have my toothache plant right here, I have a rosella right there, and then I have some chamomile right there that's starting to take over now that the catnip's cut back. I left the catnip, but I think I am going to go take it out because I just don't want it to grow back and be crazy again. Now I've had some people ask me about herbs and medicinal herbs germinating and how long they take to germinate. They take forever to germinate, and they take forever to really grow out. So if you guys are planting like your herbs and planting your medicinal herbs, start them a couple months ahead of time. So all of my medicinal herbs that I have going right now that eventually will go in there have been going for the past couple of months, and they're still very, very tiny, and they took a long time to germinate. Some of the ones that I started with these cucumbers and the okra, those are now big and ready to transplant, and some of those still haven't even gotten their true leaves yet. So that's how long they've been taking to germinate. So just keep going with it, plan ahead when you're doing your herbs and when you're doing your medicinal herbs. And if you have them starting right now, you're probably not going to really be using them until the fall. Now over here I have my favorite midget cantaloupe. It is in my arch patio pot. So I'm going to be planting probably either some black eyed peas or bush beans right here, and then also some black eyed peas or bush beans right there. Now on the other side of the arch we have some celery that's going to get harvested either today or tomorrow, because I'm going to take that out and start freezing it. And then we have a giant tomato plant, which is that black cherry tomato. So this one, guys, is actually getting taken out, and I have some cucumbers that are going to take its place. So when it comes to having a productive small space garden that you are using to feed your family, there comes a point in time where it's like, okay, well, is that one really producing enough, or do I have enough of that already? This tomato plant, it's only producing maybe like 3 or 4 at a time, versus that one back there, which is the same exact one, and that one produces like 20 to 30 every single time I go to pick. So this one, I can put something else here. It's not growing real well in the pot, and it was stunted when I put it in. So I can put something else here, even though it looks beautiful and it's starting to really kind of take off. It's really not a point in having extra tomatoes when I really need some cucumbers at this point. So I have a Prescott tomato. Now, this is the reason why I don't like tomato cages, like these little pot things, because yeah, they're nice, and I used it for this one because that's the pot I had open, but as you can see, it's already growing to where it's above it. So it's gonna get a lot taller than this, and then I'm gonna need something to stake it up. So I am gonna single stem this one too as well, but yeah, this is one of the reasons why I like having a mighty crop, because I can adjust where it kind of goes. Now I also have some basil over here. This is, I don't know what type of basil this is. I had a bunch of basil seeds, so I just kind of threw them everywhere. And then I have some lemon balm back here too as well that I need to come back and harvest. And all these little pots need to get all of their medicinal herbs. So like I was saying, my herbs are taking forever to germinate and forever to grow nice and big. So all those little pots will eventually have something in them, but I want them to get a nice size, and my thought process is it's fine, it'll just be ready for the fall. So that's kind of where I'm going with any new herbs and any new medicinal plants that I'm planting right now. Now take a look at how great this impulse buy is growing. This is my dwarf mulberry tree. So I've been seeing everybody on Instagram in Arizona with all their mulberries, and I've been so jealous, but I'm excited for what this one is going to turn into. This one was just a little stick when I put it in here, and now it's already grown into this nice little tall little bush. But what I am excited about, because it grew back and I did not kill it, is my lime tree. Let me show you that. Look at it, guys, it's alive. All the leaves are growing back. It no longer has just like 2 leaves on it, and it's alive. I'm excited. I couldn't ask for much more. So that's it. That's all the new, the old, and the future of what I plan to plant in my garden. Now it's funny because I never think that I have that much back here, because I'm just back here looking at it every day, until I film a garden tour and somebody says, that's a lot of stuff you have packed in that little space. But I want to encourage you guys, just keep going with your gardens. Keep putting as much stuff as you can. See how it grows. Sometimes it's going to grow something and it's going to be something ginormous like that that's going to produce a lot of tomatoes for you, and you know that, hey, I can do that. And then sometimes you'll plant something that may only produce a little bit of fruit, and then you say, okay, I need to change something up different or give it more room next time. But the important thing is that you learn it and that you do it, so that then you're providing yourself and your family with those amazing fruits and vegetables. So until next time, grow yourselves a garden, because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. Bye guys.